Yes, it's the time for rumors, and as some say, smoke, and some people like to add on to that and say, well, where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, we're here to talk about some smoke, a rumor that's been going around about the Iowa offensive coordinator position, which is now officially open through the University of Iowa. And I can give you some solid information to either confirm or dispel that notion that's been circulating across the internet. And I've had several people reach out to me asking about what I've heard. I'll share that with you in just a second. But first, want to thank our sponsor, Under the Kitchen. Randy Engel has been with us for about a year and a half now. We appreciate Randy. Check out his artwork. He's got original player artwork for people like Aaron Graves, Xavier Wampa, Tim Dwight, Brad Banks. I mean, we're talking former and current Hawkeyes. I know he's going to be working with some Hawkeyes of the future as well. Check it out. Search Under the Kitchen on Facebook. You can also visit his website. It's underthekitchen.square.site. That's underthekitchen.square.site for more information. And don't forget, folks, if you like this type of content, be sure to support our sponsors. You can find Under the Kitchen, the link to Under the Kitchen in our description. So, we're not going to call it news because it's not news. The rumor going around today, Scott Frost is a candidate for the Iowa offensive coordinator position. So I had several people reach out to me today. I've been out of the house all day. I have not had any opportunity to be able to address this rumor, but I did reach out to someone who I know would be able to give me either a yay or a nay on this rumor. I thought it sounded ludicrous from the get-go. And for the record, I have not read what anybody is reporting. I've been told that there are Iowa media people reporting that Scott Frost is a candidate for the job, that there's quote-unquote mutual interest, but this is what other people are telling me. I'm not about to go scour websites and message boards. First of all, because I don't have time. Second of all, I was always taught from a young age, if you know information is not true, don't waste your time with it. I wanted to be able to go to a source that I know to be reliable and either confirm or dispel this notion. Now, before I get to what my source told me on this, let's kind of run through who Scott Frost is. I mean, we all know he's a former Nebraska head coach, but as far as coordinator experience is concerned, you can kind of understand why some people were interested by the idea. Now, why did we say that? Keep in mind, Scott Frost is a former quarterback, had a lot of success at Nebraska back in the day. He's coached both sides of the ball, but at Oregon was an offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Of course, was a successful head coach at Central Florida, and it just didn't work at Nebraska. He was kind of the promised son, or at least a lot of Big Red Nation thought he would be, and it just never worked. And there are reasons why this seemed like an odd report to me from the get-go. One of them being, it's been made very clear that Kirk Ferentz has never been a big fan of Scott Frost. He just hasn't. So regardless of what you think Scott Frost may be able to do to the Iowa offense, I'm not even going to address it because it doesn't really matter. Here's what I was told from a very reliable source this afternoon. I was told this is 100% false. This is fiction. Scott Frost is not a candidate for the Iowa offensive coordinator position. There is no mutual interest. Scott Frost could be interested in the Iowa job, but I can tell you with confidence that Iowa is not interested in Scott Frost. And as I said, I mean, you think about Kirk's relationship with Scott Frost, you think about the clapping thing. Remember the Clapgate, or what we called the Clapgate thing a couple of years back? You have some of the moral rumors. I mean, you have the rumors about Scott Frost potentially not being faithful to his wife, and you have rumors and reports out there over the last few years about Scott Frost potentially showing up to recruiting visits drunk. And how much of that is true, how much of that is false, I'm not here to tell you one way or the other, but like, those are some red flags, right? And it would just seem like such an odd move for Kirk and this staff to even, well, Kirk Ferentz, he's the guy that's going to be making this hire, for him to even consider a guy with the track record of Scott Frost, even if he's got some sort of a pedigree coaching offense. So I don't really know why we need to talk about it further. I can tell you on really good authority, this information is false. He is not going to be the next offensive coordinator per a very reliable source. There is a list. Kirk Ferentz has got a list, folks. We've talked about that. Andy Ludwig is one that we had Tom Kakert on the show a couple of weeks ago, and I had not heard this until Tom shared it with all of our viewers here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Andy Ludwig has reportedly been contacted, and there are others that Kirk Ferentz and this administration is in the process of reaching out to. They are focused on the bowl game, but they're also focused on this offensive coordinator hire. And I want to make clear this video is in no way meant to undermine anybody else's sources. All right. That's why I didn't go search out who's reporting these things, because I don't care. All right. It's not anything against these sources. And we all at times probably get fed information that's not true. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad source, but sources can be wrong. I'm very confident in my source on this one, folks. Scott Frost is not going to be the next offensive coordinator at Iowa under Kirk Ferentz. You can rest assured on that one, folks. That is not going to happen. But of course, we'll continue to follow the storylines as the search for Iowa's next offensive coach continues. Keep it locked right here. More coverage on the way, folks. Thank you for being a subscriber here at From the Hawkeye of the Storm. Thank you for liking the video. Hit that thumbs up button before you leave. We'll talk to you soon.